She has a little script.
I do. Good morning. I am Helen Usera, and I am the Assistant Development Director for Abbott House in South Dakota. In Rapid City, we are located today with two of our award winners. They are Ed and Peg Seljeskog. Typically, Abbott House honors the donors through a donor appreciation event in April or May. But because of our current circumstances, we weren't able to host the luncheon. So with that being said, we decided that we would host during Foster Care Awareness Month, our Fostering Goodness Fridays, and honor those individuals who we would honor during our luncheon. We are recognizing individuals and organizations in the month of May who have changed the lives of Abbott House children and many other people across South Dakota. Today, our guests are Ed and Peg Seljeskog. They are the 2020 Abbott House Children's Champion Award recipients. Ed and Peg, congratulations. And thank you for joining us today. How did you first come to know about Abbott House?
Well, I think I could answer that because it was many moons ago. I was on, I was a volunteer at Children's Home of the Black Hills, but I was also on the board of directors for the foundation, Children's Home Foundation, and then later the operational board. But I got to know about Abbott House then because sometimes we had, at that point, I believe it was still a facility for all girls. We had some girls who, I guess, even at the age of 14, aged out of the children's home, but still needed therapeutic care. And so a young woman that I was involved with, her two younger siblings, she went to Abbott House, and that's how I learned about it, because I wanted to be able to talk to the younger kids about it. So I learned a lot about Abbott House that way. And then as the years progressed, I would hear about it. I got the newsletter, we got the newsletter, and then the changes came where it was going into foster care. And that became of more of an interest. And then my service club here in Rapid City, Zata Club at the Black Hills, through one or two of its members that got involved with the, when you purchase the first property for the foster care out here. So it's been a progressive learning curve for us. And then I told Ed.
Well, Ed, when she told you about Abbott House, what did you think?
Well, it piqued my interest, number one. But number two, we've always been interested in supporting the community and efforts of this nature. So it was a natural tie for us.
Very good. So why did you agree to assist Abbott House initially? I know that you have stepped up in our most recent campaign as well to help support the expansion of 2 more homes here in Rapid City. So why have you continued that support?
Well, it's obvious that the need is there. And I was really glad to see Abbott House kind of expanding out into this area because as in most places, there just hasn't been enough places for kids to be in foster homes. And in family-based foster homes. And sometimes a group situation is better for a kid because there are more immediate resources there as far as counseling and things. And then when the talk came around to expanding it with the new facility out here, two new facilities for apartments, for kind of launching pads for young men and women aging out again of the foster system. I thought that was really important because there used to be a program out here that lost its funding called Stepping Stones. And really, that really struck me when I think about, if kids have been in foster care, it hasn't been because, oh, wow, I want to go to foster care. There have been reasons for that. And if they've not been in a environment like we grew up in, where you learn how to take care of yourself and what's expected of you when you go out in the world, whether you go to college, the workforce, vocational school, whatever, how do you do that? And that was really important to me and to us, because our kids, we joke, I think I told you once, Helen, about Ed used to joke to our son when he'd say, why do I have to learn how to do laundry and stuff like that. And Ed would say, well, do you want Mrs. MacArthur to follow you around? Meaning Douglas MacArthur, General MacArthur's mother, moved off the campus of West Point when he went to the military academy. So that's, not everybody has a Mrs. MacArthur to follow them around, or should they have one, by the way. But joking aside, how do you go out in the world? And to know that kids who've aged out of foster home and don't have continuing support are at very high risk for getting involved with the legal system, human trafficking. Most of the percentages are not good for them because of lack of support, because they don't know who's there to be their cheerleader and to help them adjust, and how to pay bills, how to cook, how to clean, maybe remembering that paying your rent is very important, and what to do when you run into issues and things like that. So why wouldn't you support something like that?
It was just really a natural progression or support of kids.
Yeah.
Who are becoming adults.
Yeah.
Very much so. You have exemplified a true compassion commitment to not only our kids, but our community. Both of you have backgrounds in the medical profession. And I would like to know, when you look at your past experiences in the medical profession and moving forward with the children, how do you see this COVID situation really playing out with our kids, with the kids in our communities, hence the reason for why we need Abbott House?
Oh, wow. I think that's difficult
to
say. From a nursing, I don't even say nursing point of view. From our experience with, we're been very involved with Working Against Violence Incorporated, WAVI, which is the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Program out here, knowing that with the COVID thing, I can say that they feel there's been an increase in domestic violence because people are if they're following sheltering in place and things like that, issues that were there that maybe were just simmering, sometimes they're like that, because it's not about, it's about power, and some abusers have been using this you need to stay home thing as a leverage. And it's not, the kids can't go, they don't have their normal places, their normal school, playing with friends, things like that. And that, if there's already, I wouldn't say it's causing these things, but if it's already there as an issue in the home, could be exacerbated. When when the kids ask how we're doing, I say, well, we haven't killed each other yet. We joke about it, but we're home together all the time. You know, there isn't a lot of alone time or running, you know, that kind of thing. And it's hard. But I think it's going to be an interesting experience for these kids that are in any of the facilities, you know, of learning how do we take care of each other? How do we be responsible for someone other than ourselves? Because when you're under stress and you've come from a difficult environment, it's very easy to just focus on yourself and not think about others.
It's very easy to slip backwards.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that they learn that, because I've seen some of the cards they've done. I think they did a lot of cards and sent them to extended care facilities and senior homes, and, you know, thinking, and I think that's a wonderful way to challenge them to look at others and say, if we do this together, we will all be better together.
This whole program with COVID is just exemplifying the need for continued support and continuance of the support we're giving kids who are no longer kids, they're young adults.
Yeah, it's just, we can't forget the programs that we support. You know, we're very fortunate that, you know, we haven't lost our income and things like that. I mean, we're at that stage of our life where we're okay, but yeah, we worry, but we think about our worries are nothing compared to some of the kids and the staff that continue to go to work, you know, when they might want to be home or maybe not.
Well, I kind of threw a curveball there with that question, but I think it really answers the question of why you believe Abbott House is important and why you give to the organizations that you do. You have a philosophy that you shared with me at one point, Peg, and that statement that you made really has stuck with me. There's people in our lives that have probably stepped up and helped us at one point or another, and we didn't even realize it. And so getting to be the people that get to do that for others is what you enjoy. If you could share anything in terms of why people should be committed to Abbott House, whether it be time, talent, or treasures, what would be your best advice for donors?
Oh my. You know, when we're raising our own children, you know, we want them to be the best people that they can be. And why wouldn't you want to help in a sense, by being involved, you're helping raise these kids. Even if you never meet one of the kids or walk into one of the facilities, you're helping raise kids who need that extra help. I don't know that when we raised our kids, you know, to be the good people that they are and all that we thought that we were affecting a whole new generation. You don't think about that necessarily with your kids, but you can with the children of Abbott House, you know, and other programs. It's if we don't take time and treasures and all that now to do it, you know, a lot of times society can end up paying that price and that individual. And some of it's bad choices, but some of it isn't at a fault of their own if they've not learned how to be a person, be a part of society, be a part of a family, how to create, you know, a healthy family.
It's important that at least in our way of thinking about this, that we view this Abbott House as being a continuance of our support of children in children's home. And you're just not going to cut them off because they turned 18.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ed and Peg. You have been an inspiration, and I have absolutely enjoyed getting to know you both. And I promise to keep calling you, Peg, and checking in on you.
Well, you know, you have to keep doing that senior check-in.
Yeah.
But I should be calling you too, but that's all right. And I apologize. We were on mute early on, that we didn't get to say thank you for the recognition by Abbott House. That was not needed, but if it makes you happy and it helps other people learn about this important agency and the loving people who work there, we're all for it.
Amen.
Thank you very, very much. And Peg, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I know
well, thank you.
Mother's Day weekend coming up.
Well, it's, you know, and a happy Mother's Day to mothers that are struggling. And we all want to be better in some way, but some have more struggles than others. And we want these kids to grow up and be the best parents. If they choose to be parents, we want them to be the best that they can be too.
Thank you. And all of you watching today, please remember Abbott House will be featuring special guests every Friday in May during our Fostering Goodness Fridays in recognition of our 2020 Children's Champion Award winners, as well as Foster Care Awareness Month. Please share our stories using hashtag Fostering Goodness Fridays, and you can learn more about Abbott House at www.abbotthouse.org. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.